Now that we have our specification sheet data entered, we can start building the model using the components here on the right-hand side of the screen, or you can also access these same components from the top menu where you have your main body components, as well as nozzles, attachments, supports. They can all be accessed from either the top or the right-hand side of the screen. I like to use Quick Design, which is activated by turning on the Quick Design mode option here. By activating Quick Design, if we start adding in our components such as a cylinder, you'll be able to first visualize the position within the modeling space here, and then by double clicking or right clicking, you can make an edit or a change to this component. If we were to deactivate Quick Design mode here, now instead of placing the component visually within the modeling space here, I would first go through and edit the information for this component, such as my material, my thicknesses, and overall length. So it really depends on which method you prefer when designing the vessel. Now I'm going to activate Quick Design mode again here, and as you can see, all I had to do to add a component to my modeling space is select the component, such as a head, and then hover over the position where you would like it placed in the model. Again, if you need to make any changes, all we have to do is double click, and then from here, you'll be able to edit the component through the component dialog. Here we can make changes to the material. Here you'll see a list of the most common materials that you might use. If you don't see the material that you're looking for, you can select Add Material, and this will bring you to the ASME Section 2D database, where you can search using your specification number and the search bar here at the top, and you can search for one of the materials. Additionally, if you need more information about the material you've selected, you can select Material Properties. This Material Properties menu will show you the allowable stress at different temperatures for this material, as well as notes from Section 2D down here at the bottom. Now, this material database is updated with each code edition, as you can see up here. So whichever code edition you've selected will give you a reference to the page number and line number. So if you need to cross-reference that information, you can. All right, so the software has already carried over our pressure and temperature conditions for us that we entered previously. Below, we have some material options that we can choose with these checkboxes. So if we do have a material that's been impact tested, normalized, or produced to fine grain practice, we can make those check selections here. Another thing to note is that if you do need to use Appendix 46 from Division 1, that will allow you to use the Division 2 rules, but with those Division 1 allowable stresses. Now, looking at the radiography for our joints, you will have the option to select the type of radiography for both your longitudinal and circumferential seams. After we've selected the type of radiography, we can click Next. From there, we'll be able to enter in the geometry for this component. If you would like to change how you're speccing this component from the inner to outer diameter, you can do so here, as well as which component that it's actually attached to. From here, we'll enter in our geometry, which includes the head diameter, the minimum thickness, and this will be after forming, as well as the straight flange length and thickness, and our head ratio. Now, if you need a head where you're going to specify the crown and knuckle radius, you can do that using a flange and disked head. One thing that's really nice about using Compress is that we will give you some information about the minimum thickness that's required for this component. So you can see here for our head thickness and our straight flange thickness, we'll show you that minimum thickness that's required by code. Now, since we are using design mode, if I try to enter in a thickness that is less than my minimum required thickness, the software is automatically going to round me up to a value above my minimum thickness value. Now, there may be cases where you don't want this to happen and all you have to do is switch to rating mode, and then we will just run the calculations per the thickness that you've entered. You'll still have all your code checks as well. Okay, so now if I click OK, I'll go back to modeling the vessel, where again, if I need to add additional components, such as another head, I can do so. And that's all it takes to start developing that main body of the shell. In the next section, we're going to talk about how to add nozzles.